Hello all and welcome to the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Unfortunately, if you've seen the previous videos, Phil is no longer with us, and I promised to carry his legacy on and to honor him by continuing doing shows, so as promised to repeat myself here. From the two, or at least the last episode, I'm going to bring some of the usual news bites and information and opinions that we used to bring you. So today's focus is going to be ridiculous recounts. Are they ridiculous or aren't they? Who's in charge of them and who's trying to join in and everything about that. So unfortunately, your host is no longer Phil Taylor Jones, as I said, so I'm the exec as he used to call me. I'm your host, Chris Newman, and let's get started. Okay, so the election results happened on the 8th. And Mr. Donald John Trump is now going to be the president. He's our president-elect. Well, people really were not liking that. There has been protests all over the country, including a couple of blocks from where I live. People are not really happy about it. There's hashtags, not my president, just like when old bastard was president, and they're marching the streets and protest, and people are not really happy with it. Well, with that in mind, Jill Stein, that was running for president, she was the one that we wanted to win. She has started a recount in 3 different states, and that starts in Wisconsin, and I believe Michigan and Pennsylvania as well. 3 states, the swing states, that a recount has been demanded. Now, the reason I'm coming to you with this show is because we, being a supporter of Jill Stein, want to get every different bite of information out there that there is, regarding current events and political events. So she is starting this hashtag Recount 2016 movement to basically have a recount for those 3 mentioned states, considering that she believes there was some kind of hacking going on. Even the Russians were blamed for it, and that was supposedly debunked. I don't know if it's true or not, or if it was truthful that it was debunked, or what the deal is. However, let me start off with my opinion about Jill Stein in general, and then about her doing this. Let's start off with in general. We did support her. As you've seen in all of our previous shows, we had the link to go to vote to have her in different states, to actually be listed on the election page, or the voting page. And she did get in about 90% of the states, about 45 or so, and some of them you were able to write in her name, and that's who we voted for. But unfortunately that didn't pan out. She got less than 1%, or she got 1% of the whole nation's vote. So her opinion on a lot of things, her movement on a lot of things, was basically to bring the power back to the people. Her power to the people plan, to basically get big corporations out of jobs so that the people can have their own union and dictate what goes on with the work that they're putting out to get the money, the money that they're getting. You're making money for the company, you should dictate policy about what happens with it. Not corporations spending it wherever they want on buying yachts, buying islands. That's been happening. If you look it up, I forget exactly who it was. I think it was the owner of Oracle, which is also basically Java. He bought his own island and everything. Shouldn't the people working for him choose what happens to the money? That's what Jill Stein was about. She was also about basically eradicating student debt. She was about getting the homeless off the street. She was about getting jobs to everybody, which you say, Chris, well, everybody else was supposedly doing that. Well, the way she wanted to go about doing it was totally different. It was, let's say, not the status quo. She wanted to totally change how things operate entirely. Just totally different altogether. So that's why we're on her side. She was bucking against the status quo and wanted to make a change, wanted to make a movement. So now to continue on, excuse me, I'm a little tongue-tied here. As I said, I lost my brother, and it's still very recent to me. It hasn't even been 2 weeks yet, but I wanted to keep my word and get some shows going. So Now this recount, I can understand and condone why she's doing it, because she herself always wants to have the Americans, treated properly, and to have what's done rightly by them, as she is, out there in North Dakota fighting for the Sioux tribe, not to have the the pipeline over there, so it won't mess up their, sacred tribal grounds and ruin their water supply and everything if it happens to bust. So she's out there trying to help people, So I understand and condone. I condone why she's doing it, but I don't understand it, because she, in her whole campaign, was against Hillary. Everything Hillary did, she was against it. So she was against Trump as well. But if you're against both of them, even notwithstanding that you're trying to do the right thing by the people of the United States, why would you want to help get someone that you don't support in office? I think it's a bad call on her part. I'm still in support of her through all the movements that she was planning on doing to become president. But the fact that she's getting this money to do this, and there's been another website that I'll look up soon, she has a disclaimer that says some of the money cannot be guaranteed that it will go towards a recount. So where is it going to go? I think it's going to go towards movements that she's trying to continue and everything, which is good also. So that's not really negative. I maybe shouldn't have mentioned that. But now here's the thing, Hillary Clinton wants to join her. Now, if you conceded and accepted the results, then, why are you wiffle-waffling and getting right back into it? Like Jill Stein said, there's a site that I'll post up here. It basically says that Jill Stein doesn't want Hillary's help. She put about 3 different quotes down on Twitter and said, why would Hillary Clinton, who conceded the election to Donald Trump, want #Recount 2016? You cannot be on again, off again about democracy, and I agree, you either accept it or you don't. Also, why would Hillary Clinton, who holds public and private positions, want to engage in something as transparent as Recount 2016? And then the third one being, election integrity cannot be led by a party without integrity, just as a revolution cannot happen in a counter-revolutionary party. Enough said. So, why is Clinton doing this in the first place, other than clutching at straws, trying to get the presidency back that she thought she so rightfully won, because she had 2 million or more of the popular vote? Okay, so going into some of the details of this, basically the money was supposed to be about 1.1 million to have authorization to file, and have your lawyers present at the recount. Now, speaking of having lawyers present, I found out that Hillary Clinton is not in any way funding Jill Stein by doing this. I almost had to make a retraction. I had a video about to go out, and then I did some more research. We've never tried to have untruths to our public viewers. So I did look it up and found out, if I can find this section here, that the Clinton campaign will not contribute financially to the effort, which has been funded by small contributions, but it will pay to have its own lawyers present at the recount. So I initially thought by someone's comment, and I shouldn't have jumped bad on Jill Stein, because I had a negative video coming out and it didn't actually get posted. But I shouldn't have jumped the gun, because how do you just believe one comment? We usually don't do that. We usually investigate before you invest, as our grandmother said. So finding that out, here's a new video to say a few more things I wanted to say, and to also, explain what exactly is going on here. So, the number of votes, she says, Jill Stein, separating Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton is the closest of these states, Michigan. It will exceed the largest margin ever overcome in a recount. So they're saying it's very close. And I again have to reiterate, if you don't support someone and you're against them, you're against everything they stand for, you have your own platform, then why on God's green earth are you trying to spearhead an effort that puts someone in office, possibly, that you didn't want in there, and you'd rather have yourself in there. If you're doing it to help the people, I understand that, but it's still, it kind of, makes sense, and then it doesn't make sense, So anyways, as far as the election results go, my brother's opinion and my opinion, we didn't want him, We did at first because we heard about Jill Stein, we loved her, and we didn't hear any more about her, so we thought she was gone. And then later on we found out, after putting out some supportive videos of Trump, because there's some things we agreed with. He is trying to get the country to be a little bit better by not having potential terrorists come over here, at least having them vetted properly so you know who exactly you're dealing with coming into the country. We're not against that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not racist. That's not homophobic. That's not Islamophobic at all. And in fact, I admit I'm Islamophobic. I know. I remember 9/11, and it was the most terrible thing to happen to this nation. And knowing that those kind of people are prolific for doing terrible terrorist things and killing people, and have done so ever since and before 9/11, why accept them into your country? I'm damn proud to be an Islamophobic, because at least I don't have blinders on like a horse and don't see what's going on around me. So I'm proud to be that. So some of the things he was doing with, I agree with, trying to transfer up to 20 million illegal ones back over, that's going to cost too much money, and that's not really frugal with Americans' money. Okay, so as far as Trump goes, he's a blowhard, he's a pompous ass, as my brother would say, and he attacks too much. At some of the debates we found out that he was attacking this person, that person, not one or two, but every single person that said something negative about him, he attacked personally. And to go into the genre of someone's family, that's below the belt. He insulted Ted Cruz's wife, called her ugly or something like that, and some other comments. You don't insult someone's family like that. That's way beyond and way below the belt. And it's not something you do. It's just not right. It's not moralistic. And it's something you shouldn't do to boost your campaign. You can find other ways to do that. Trump knows how to sell Trump. He knows how to promote himself. He doesn't need to go around insulting people and being a badass or being a rock'em sock'em guy, So, that notwithstanding the fact that he won, what can we do about it unless this actually pans out and he, is superseded by Hillary? Then there's not much we can do about that. But if it continues and he becomes our president, then, our opinion was, well, it happened. We can't really do anything about it. We'll give him a chance, and if he does improve things, fine. We'll take back our word that we didn't like him. And if he doesn't, then we'll make shows about what he's doing wrong as well, So it's kind of like fair in the middle, and he's there. We did agree with him on a lot of points, but he was just too much of an attacker and pompous everything. Like we were saying, he doesn't like. I don't know how people had black people or blacks for Trump when he denied, and there was lawsuits about this, renting his apartments or condos or whatever they might be to black people back in the day. How can you support someone knowing that? He's against a lot of people, and we made a video about this. He's not for veterans, though he claims he is, because there was a commercial about it. If you look it up, we did a show about that. I think it's called Trump Insults Somebody. I don't exactly remember the name of it, but I'll be looking it up while I'm talking about this. We also made another video about how he did not really play fair towards or when dealing with the veteran. And the veteran felt so honored by what he was trying to do for the country that he gave him his Purple Heart. And that's not something you get lightly. You risk your own life to save someone else. That's the biggest sacrifice you can make, the greatest honor to receive. That's a cherished emblem of your courage, And when Trump received it, he said, "Oh, is it the real thing?" Like there's a fake one, How dare you even consider that they give extras, just so they can give them away and everything. That's an insult. The video is called Trump's Disrespect, I believe, if that's the right one, because he's done so many things that there's a lot of disrespect. That might be the one about the video that Hillary Clinton put out, where there was a guy sitting down talking about that he didn't like John McCain. John McCain wasn't a war hero because he got captured and everything, and the guy was sitting there crying and everything and said he didn't want that kind of person. So it might have been that one, or another one if I can find it. Trump's kindness, not. Maybe that's the one. Either way, it's in the channels there. So that's my opinion on Trump. He just insults people. And to continue something I forgot about that, he said that the Purple Heart thing I'm telling you about, that he always wanted one of those. Wow, that was so cool. He didn't have to do any work to get it. This guy is a tool. And because of all those things, despite us supporting him, we didn't want him for president, but we had no choice. We'll see what happens with the country. We'll see what's going on with this supposed recount. Jill Stein, you're doing the right thing by American people, but by the same token, you're helping out someone that shouldn't even have ever been able to run for president, seeing as she and her husband, when they left, stole about $20,000 worth in artifacts and was told to return them. Why would you not get blacklisted from the White House so you could never run for it or be in it ever again when you stole from it? How crazy is that? And our opinion on Hillary Clinton, a woman would be good to have be the president. That would have been Jill Stein, but Hillary Clinton was not the one. As far as she goes, all this crookedness in the emails and everything, she sat down and, well, you're saying, Chris, why are you against her? She didn't get indicted for those emails, so she didn't do anything wrong, because she said she didn't do anything wrong. Well, the fact of the matter is, to those naysayers out there was some brackets with a C in there, which stood for confidential. And she said she didn't know what that meant. Being in the presidency with her husband and being in office and being Secretary of State, there's things that generally that have to do with or are involved with government, and you should know what that C stands for. So don't come to us lying about it and trying to get away with it. And because she did get away with it and didn't get indicted, the people in the FBI, I forget the guy's name, my brother was better with that, Harry Comey or something, I don't think that was it. Either way, he should be kicked out of the FBI, because there's no way in heck that should have happened. So because she got away with it doesn't mean she didn't do it. And the biggest thing that I can never get past, anytime someone says something in support of Hillary, I just hear Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi. Oh, but this happened, Benghazi, hello. She's basically a murderer. She's basically a murderer. She was in charge at the time and had the autonomy to tell the military to go in and help those 4 people. And she denied that help, and therefore they got killed, and she basically let those people die. So she's a murderer. So how can you even want someone that's a murderer as a president? So, that's just crazy. And the fact that she was able to run all this time doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Excuse my language here. So anyways, electing someone is to bring change. That's what the main motto seems to be. Make America great again. That's changing America from how it is into how he wants it to be. Bringing change, that's what Obasser had. That seems to be the theme with government, but no one ever seems to actually want to do it besides, Jill Stein with her different way of doing things. Now I'm getting more into the details about my brother, because the economy, which is controlled by the government basically, it is not good. They say it's doing better, people are buying more things, but that's just propaganda, probably given by Obama or Bastard to give to the public to make them feel better, make it feel like things are as bad as they seem, as bad as they are. So we had too much stresses and everything. Car crashed because a foreigner came here and ran a red light and ran into my brother's car. Excuse me. Luckily it was an SUV, and he stopped at the right time to make sure the car didn't hit him in the door. And get hit by the front of the car, and that was a foreigner that shouldn't have been here. You know, that we still could have had the car, and he still could have been here because he was happier when we had the car, and now he doesn't have that. He never got over it, you know. And the economy making people have to take out loans and everything, even with 2 incomes. It was just too much stress piled on top of each other, mostly fueled by the government, everything that they're doing wrong by the people. And because of that, and because of Obamacare and him being in the hospital only 7 days instead of about 5 years ago before that came around, as I said in the previous video, him not being able to stay there as long as he needed until he was healthy again, that was one of the reasons he died. He didn't get enough help because Obamacare just changed the way the medical profession works. So, you know, we were always fighting the good fight against the government. You know, if you look at one of the very first videos, it's called Gentlemen Stop Playing Games. We are singing the same tune that we were singing way back then as we are now. The government does not have their people's best interests at heart. They have their own interests at heart, and that's money, the green stuff. This country needs to be less concerned with greed and stupidity than it needs to be concerned with doing right by its citizens, and I don't believe that that's going to happen. I will eat my words if Trump actually makes some good changes, but until then I'll say that I didn't want him in here, my brother didn't want him in here, and I don't think he's going to do a good job, but we'll give him a chance, we'll see what he can do. And that's basically it. I was trying to think of if there's anything else, but I believe I covered it. I wanted to get into a few of the details. All this money that's being, you know, spent and everything. It was initially like 4.2 million, now it got to 5, and now as the money grows, it seems that she needs to get more, well, not as the money grows, but let me see here, just one moment. If I can actually find this. Okay, here we go. The mysterious case of Jill Stein surging recount costs. So it seems like the money just keeps going up and up and up. She needed a total, I'm not trying to say anything negative about her, I'm just putting the facts out there. She needed 2.5 million to fund her recount efforts. So that includes 2.2 million for the actual filing fees and presumably another 0.3 million for legal fees and other costs. So she got to that, and there's different fees per state for those 3 states. And then another 1 million for the filing fees, as we said. The attorney fees are another 1 million as well. It's also 1.1 to actually initially file for it, but then all of a sudden, the filing fees didn't change, but the attorney's fees apparently surged by 300%, and the cost of the effort skyrocketed to 6.7 million now. So their goal was 4.5 million, and that got raised, and now the goal is 7 million. You know, not that I'm against her trying to do right by the American people, but all this money is being spent, and possibly it will be denied that money's gone to waste, or it's just gone to other efforts. She says she wants to spend it on this grassroots effort that she has. It's basically to change the way things are going, and I can't really find that post, so I've said about all I can say. And my brother, even though he's not with us, thanks everybody for his support once again throughout the years, you know, for the love and the comments and everything. And we thank you at the Phil Taylor Jones Show for being steady watchers and viewers, and I've received some very, very nice, heartfelt, kind comments from supporters of the show, people that came to love my brother by watching the show, and I've replied to them already, but I just wanted to give a heartfelt thanks to all of those people that did that. You know who you are. And once again, thanks for watching the Phil Taylor Jones Show. As my brother used to say, in this crazy, mixed up, nutty world that gets crazier every minute, try to maintain an air of sanity to the extent possible, and keep a smile on your face as a direct contradiction to all the creepiness and cruelty in the world, to let them know that they can't take your joy away. And to end the show with the catchphrase that he had, dump the hate and increase the peace. Thanks for watching the Phil Taylor Jones Show. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi all again. Sorry to catch you off guard like that because you thought the video was over, but it's not. I have a few more things to say that I forgot in the video. I'm Chris Newman, this is your host, and welcome back to a quick episode, I guess a mini episode you could say, of the show. There's someone's channel that I want to promote out there. This person, Oscar Hildebrand, has been very supportive, extremely supportive of my brother and I throughout the time we've been doing this show. Now, Oscar, he's a good guy. You know, he's a very good patriot. He loves America. He'll put out videos there supporting the veterans, and he was a veteran himself, so we thank him for his service. But him and his wife are two wonderful people. You know, she actually spoke with my brother on the phone as well as Oscar speaking on the phone, and they were both very supportive and showed true love and kindness for him, and for that we deeply appreciate it, and he deeply appreciates it, even though he's no longer here with us. So check out Oscar's channel. We kind of bounced off each other, you know, off of Phil's show and his show. And, you know, we admire him, he admires us. And we appreciate the shows he puts out there. Anything that he puts out there is something that's happened that I'm sure he wants you to know about, something that's important, because anything that happens, you know, he gets on it right away, you know. Any kind of current event, any kind of issue that he feels that people need to know about and hear his opinion about it, to get you the truth out to you, that's what he does, you know. So his channel is The New News by Oscar Hildebrand. I guarantee you you won't be sorry if you check it out. He's got a good thing going on there, and we appreciate all the support he's given. You know, as I said, he's a true patriot, and he also loves kids. He loves children. You know, anything that goes wrong, you know, kids being treated badly in school, he jumps on it, and he's angry, and he shows it. And he's a no holds barred kind of fellow. He tells the truth as it is or is, you know, and he does a great job at it. So we want you to check out his channel, The New News by Oscar Hildebrand, and we want to thank you again, Oscar, for all of your support during, you know, Phil being alive, and your support to me in this difficult time. He would appreciate it, and I deeply appreciate it. You and your wife, Tony, I believe that's your name, for being there for us. You guys are the best, and thanks again for watching. This is the actual goodbye. Check out his channel, The New News by Oscar Hildebrand. Bye bye.